So I'm here tonight with Barry Robinson at the ABA. Barry, lovely to have you here in Auckland.
Ton of fun, man. Ton of fun.
It's been a good night, hasn't it? Been a good night, yeah.
Really good night, and man, we did all right for our first time working together.
For sure, mate, for sure. So we just want to have a little chat with you as well, Barry, about just a few things, get your expert opinion on a few things and stuff like that. First of all, if we go to the recent fight, the recent big fight just happened, the Joseph Parker versus Dillian Whyte.
Right.
What's your take on that one?
Man, you know, I thought there's one thing that Joseph Parker needs to work on. His movement is beautiful. It's really nice, going left to right. The problem is in his current heavyweight division is Joseph Parker's what, 6'4", 6'3"?
Yeah, he's not huge, is he? Yeah.
Okay, so he has to walk towards the bigger guys to get his offense off. And the reason why he was hesitant against Joshua because you have to walk through
long arms, powerful arms.
Powerful, right?
Yeah.
So what I think Joseph Parker needs to work on is do his movement thing. But there needs to be 10 to 15 seconds where he stands in the middle of the ring, plants his feet, and invites a punch so he can catch and counter. And I think that's how he needs to use his power because it's tough to use your power when your feet are not planted and moving. The moving's great.
Yep.
But for 10 to 15 seconds, he has to say, okay, I did my moving. Let me get in the middle of the ring, invite some punches so I can catch and counter.
Yep.
And I think that's how he could be devastating by shocking guys with his power.
That's how Dillian Whyte knocked him down, didn't it? He stood his ground, guarded up, took his shot on the guard, and came back with a counter left hook. That's how he actually got put down himself.
And his feet were planted. It's funny that you bring. I'm glad I'm talking to you because if you look at when Parker was getting hit, he was getting hit going backwards on the end of Dillian's shot. But if he would have stayed there, you let Dillian smother himself.
Yep.
The more separation you give Dillian, the more you have a chance to get hit.
You give
so
him a
Parker
bit
needs
of space.
to work on his, okay, I'm moving, and then I'm here. I'm like.
Yep. Would you almost say too much time on the back foot, spending too much time going backwards on the back foot?
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to Mayweather, right? If you look at Joseph Parker and Mayweather, we're going to compare their styles. Here's why. They both like to move, and they both think they're slick, right? But here's the thing with Parker. Parker does a good job of limiting. If you look at Anthony Joshua fight, he limited the amount of punches Anthony Joshua do. And Anthony Joshua was smart by not throwing his punches because you don't chase a guy. You stand in the middle of the ring, right?
Yeah.
So Mayweather also has those pockets where he says, okay, I'm going to stand in the middle of the ring. I'm going to control your gloves with my jab, and I'm going to counter with the shoulder roll or a pull counter or some type of catch and counter. And I think that's the only thing that Joseph Parker's missing. Okay, you found a way to bring a guy's punch out down. Now we need to add the offense to that. And in boxing, we don't get enough development time because we think Joseph Parker has to have it all together tomorrow. He had some good development fights, and now in his next fight, instead of throwing him in with a world beater, give him 2 fights where he can develop and work on the things that we're talking about now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay, so what else in terms of like psychology as well? A lot of people saying that Dillian Whyte wanted to win more, he wanted it more. And Parker, wasn't vicious enough, wasn't aggressive enough, got out hustled, became victim to dirty tricks from Dillian Whyte. Getting thrown over the ropes, headbutts.
Well, there are things that I don't think Joseph Parker learned. For example, the closer you are to a guy, the less he can hurt you. So if you're in a clinch and you're separated even 2 inches, you're putting yourself in danger. So Joseph Parker, like we talked about wrestler's control earlier, getting your head on the collarbone. If you go back to that fight, never was Joseph Parker ever in that position. That means that he wasn't taught that position. So he has to get in the gym. His movement is good. Keep training that. Your jab is good. You got fast hands. Now let's work on your clinch game, your smothering game, your catch and counter game. That's where his game needs to go from there. Clinch game, smother game, catch and counter game. He's got everything else.
Yeah, and almost like old school dirty pro tricks as such, that kind of is his clinch game.
And that's what it comes back to, his clinch game. Yeah. Knowing that, for example, in grappling, they say alligator arms, meaning that my arms are not out here around you, but they're in close to my body, and I'm controlling your arms or your neck. And I think that he needs to learn some wrestler's control and things, head position in a clinch. Where does my head go?
Yep.
And yes, it's dangerous, but the closer I am to a guy, the less he can hurt me. And it's a tough decision to make, but if you go back to Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton couldn't land punches because he was too close the entire round. Yeah. The entire fight.
Fantastic, yeah. Cool. But you think he's got a chance to go again? So if you're his coach now, you're telling him to go away, rebuild a couple of rebuilding fights, and then go back at it. Do you think he's got the beating of Joshua? If he goes away and reevaluates and comes
you have to think about it. Anthony Joshua didn't blow him out the water. I think with the what was the second fight?
Dillian Whyte.
with the Dillian Whyte fight, I don't even think he was in shape, to be honest. I'm looking at his body. Look at his body from the Joshua fight to the Dillian Whyte fight. Was he really in great shape?
He has got one of those physiques, hasn't he? He generally doesn't. I'm not.
But from the Joshua fight to the Dillian Whyte fight, his body was completely different.
But did he not train a lot more speed for the Joshua fight and a bit more size for the Dillian, a bit more power for the Dillian Whyte fight?
Well, that's a managerial mistake then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. That's the thing with the heavyweights. They go up and down to custom who they're fighting, you know. But like you're saying, just generally doesn't look conditioned enough.
I was just telling Evander at the gym today. I said, Evander, I said, you look like you have a great body, but you know what I told him? I said, you're not even near your athletic potential for your body. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, Barry, no, this is the way we are. But unfortunately, it's 2018, and I know for a fact that with certain lifestyle changes, Joseph Parker's body can be unbelievable.
Almost,
it's just a matter.
Almost Anthony Joshua-like physique, you reckon?
Let's talk about Dan Hooker. Let's talk about a guy from New Zealand, Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker is not the most talented guy. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the strongest guy. But his body's in shape year-round. Go look at Dan's body right now. I can almost guarantee you he's probably in great shape. And and that's what it is for Joseph Parker. It has to be a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Joseph Parker cannot train. You're not good enough to train 6 weeks for a fight.
Yeah.
Amir Khan was not good enough to train 4 weeks for a fight. You need 12 weeks you need 4 weeks of development and 8 weeks of fight prep.
Yeah.
And I think Joseph Parker right now, somebody told him, or maybe he's been around the world and he sees other guys doing a 6-week camp and he's trying to do that. Yeah. And it just don't work that way.
Yeah. No,
what other sport? Even look at the NBA. If we looked at the NBA right now, LeBron James is posting videos of him practicing. It's the off season. You know what he's doing? Drills.
Yeah.
One dribble, shoot with the right hand. One dribble. In boxing, how the hell do we take 10 weeks off between the fights?
You get people like Ricky Hatton who do that lifestyle, don't they? They go off season, they drink, they get bigger, they do stuff like that, and then they think within 12 weeks they can become in champion shape. But are you saying it's got to be at that level, level, it has to be a lifestyle?
At that level, you can't do it.
What did Mayweather say? He's only ever 2 weeks away from a fight any time of the year.
And Mayweather is funny because he misleads everybody. He makes people think that he's out partying all the time, but it's a known fact that he's in the gym 2 to 3 days a week doing something.
He's a trickster,
Oh yeah, he's absolutely a trickster. You know why? Because people like the entertainment, right?
Yeah.
They want to hear the crap.
I've heard a lot of people as well say with Josie Parker, which is true, like, because I'm a believer in psychology, it's all about the hunger, who wants it most and stuff like that. And so Dillian Whyte, especially in the last fight, he did look to want it a lot more than Parker. And like you're saying, that lifestyle, that's got to be something that you want. It can't be something that you can force into a person, you know? If you've made millions of dollars already and you know subconsciously you're completely comfortable and you know, it's hard not to become complacent and just be a bit too relaxed almost with your training, with your lifestyle, with it all, you know?
Yeah, I think that, like I said, I think Parker needs to get in the gym. I think the 3 things he needs to work on, which is quite obvious, you said it yourself. He was horrible in the clinch. He kept moving backwards. Okay, it's different when you're moving with this much space, with a ton of space. Yeah. But if you're moving backwards as the guy's closing in on you, so it's not that he's moving, it's when I'm moving. When am I moving? Why am I moving? As opposed to what am I doing? But when am I doing it? Why am I doing it? And how am I doing it? And I think that's what Parker needs to really focus on. Those 3 things: when, why, and how.
A lot of people have said, "Oh, you know, he's out of his depth and stuff like that." I don't think that was the case at all. You know, he wasn't out of his depth. He put Dillian Whyte down in the last round, and on the scorecards, it was very, very close. But what you're saying is some big, obvious adjustments that need to be made.
You just reminded me of something, and this might be a reach, but I'm gonna be honest here. I don't know Joseph Parker. I never met him. I don't know if he's a nice guy or a mean guy. But when I watch him give his pre-fight press conference, okay, cool. When I watch him in a ring shake his opponent's hand 10 times, I don't want to see that, because guess what? Now we got what you're talking about. Nice guy, a little bit complacent. I'm not saying he has to be rah, but you cannot give that much respect to your opponent before and during a fight. I've never seen that.
Another big situation. So they're saying over here they use the word mongrel. He needs more mongrel in him, you know, more attitude, more anger, more aggression and stuff like that.
What is that going to do?
And they're saying, can that be taught? So they're saying, for example, Dillian Whyte, he brought up in the hood, he's a little bit aggressive, a little bit streetwise, a little bit more mongrel as such. And can that be taught to Josie Parker? Is he too nice as such?
Well, you know? Let's go back to the Anthony Joshua-Dillian Whyte fight. Anthony Joshua knocked Dillian Whyte off a counterpunch.
So aggression is not the main component needed in boxing, is it? Aggression. But then if you're getting out-hustled, is it not aggression you need to show back, or is it just being smarter or just more skillful in a clinch? So you don't need to be aggressive, just more knowledgeable, more wise to it as such.
You know a fight I want you to take a look at when you get a chance, Gary? Take a look at George Benson versus, I forget the guy's first name, but his last name is Smith.
Yep.
And I think that fight is a seminar for how to put pressure on a guy. So, for example, you have a taller fighter and a shorter fighter. And what George Benton did that fight was he caught the jab really strong. If you see his presence the whole fight, really strong, and he took small steps forward. Not obvious,
Yep.
but by the time the second round
Creeping
came on,
forward. That's what I was
creeped on him,
creeping.
landed 2 punches, knocked the guy out.
Creeping, yeah.
So, not being Captain Obvious. I don't think Joseph Parker should be Captain Obvious, no.
So Parker's when he goes on the back foot, he kind of almost runs, bobs and weaves, and then he's forcing his work forward. Is what you're saying. He should be. So okay, you're attacking, but I'm taking it, and I'm creeping forward to counter.
Right, and also
not just run and come back.
Exactly.
And feel pressure to come back because you know you're losing on the scorecards.
Exactly. And also, like I said, sometimes stand in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, I got to try to catch a counter here.
Yeah.
Just to give the guy a presence, to make him think twice before he just rushes in.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like his work was forced, wasn't it? It was almost like he went back on the back foot and then he's like, right, I need to do something. Let's try and let's rush my way.
He had no choice, right?
Force something to happen. And then he's walking into shots or rushing into shots.
But it's funny, though, with that fight and with Joseph Parker, it's actually quite simple. The two top guys in the heavyweight division are 6'7" and 6'8". In order to fight the land punches on those guys, anybody that's shorter than them have to do what? Go forward.
Yeah.
So those guys are at a huge advantage defensively.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua has a huge advantage defensively, the same way Deontay Wilder has, because at the end of the day, they can prep in camp for you coming to them.
Yeah. And you're enhancing their power by walking onto their shots.
And you have no choice because they're taller than you.
You have to. Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, Joseph Parker handled his all respect to those guys because they built them up to a really good place. But I thought those two fights, if they were money grabs, I respect it because I understand you. I would get that bag too. But they weren't good development fights at the time.
Yeah.
They could have waited. Look at Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua right now. Are they getting together? They'll build the fight up.
Yeah.
So why did Joseph Parker need to fight those guys right away?
Do you think he's cashing in?
He has to be. He better be. He better be.
Yeah, he's cashing in.
Yeah, he better be.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I was getting a bag,
it's a big lot of money offered there, isn't it? You know. And the main thing is, he's not really. He got roughed up by Dillian Whyte, and he did get put down for the first time and stuff like that. But even against Anthony Joshua, he didn't even get hurt.
No.
You know, it's a big payday for both of them guys, and both of them left the ring fairly unmarked. You know,
Right.
It was a very composed, standoffish fight, and it's a big money fight for that.
and also if you look at Dillian Whyte is way different than those two, where Dillian Whyte will never be a marquee star. Like nobody's ever going to come to him for commercials. Whereas Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua,
yep.
that was a night. They did business with each other.
Yeah.
You know?
More marketing pin-ups.
But Dillian Whyte is like, he's coming into that fight like, screw that.
He's there. This is it, the hunger. He needs it as
So
such.
who puts Parker? Do you put Parker in a fight after he fights Anthony Joshua, takes a loss? Do you put him in a fight with Dillian Whyte next? Is that good management? Or do you give him a development fight against somebody first to get his confidence?
I always
back?
say with my fighters, it depends what their end goal is. What do they want? What is their focus? What is their goal? If the goal is a big load of money, then it's a fantastic fight back in the UK. It's fantastic. If it is to rebuild again and get another world title shot, no, it wasn't a good fight. It was a dangerous fight, and it's now gone down. He's going to a longer road back to a world title shot.
If he wants it.
If he wants it. But that's what I'm saying. What is their goal? What is their motivation? Because if it's money, it's a fantastic management move.
For example, I think, if I was a parking handler, they have Malik Scott in camp, all camp. And Malik's a friend of mine, so hopefully Malik doesn't get offended if he hears this. But, the next person I fight is Malik Scott.
Yeah.
You don't take on another tall. You take a 6'3" guy that's 250, fight him. You've been sparring with the guy. He's slick. He don't have no power. You can work on some stuff.
Yeah.
You don't take a 6'5", 6'6" guy after this. You just don't do it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the best anyway, because I think he's a nice guy. I've met him a few times, so hopefully he picks up from that lot.
Definitely don't want to. I don't want to see Parker in there with David Ortiz. I don't want to see him in there with.
They're talking about Lucas Brown, the Aussie guy.
I was surprised about Lucas Brown, man. He got
he
some
got
good
he got
skills.
blown away by Dillian Whyte, didn't he?
He sure did.
Quite easy,
He sure
but
did.
yeah, who knows? Different, big man, but a different type of test.
But I think also the pressure, Dillian Whyte, not the physical pressure, but just the mental pressure that he puts on you because he's winging the shots. Even if he misses, how it is. A guy misses a big shot, it's almost like traumatizing.
And over in London, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of you're in the public eye a lot.
Right.
A lot of media and exposure and stuff like that.
Right.
Sure. Well, we'll wrap it up now anyway. I'm sure Justin's going, but just one last thing as well. You're here for a seminar at Redline.
It's cool, man.
Tomorrow and Sunday?
Yeah, tomorrow and Sunday. It's a reactive mitt seminar. You know, people like to do a certain type of mitt work. I do a lot of different mitt work, but this is a drill that people always ask me about. So I'm going to teach that for 2 days. But it's not going to be just teaching them how to be fancy. I'm kind of a stickler for rules, and I don't care about liking people or people liking me. We're going to teach it the right way. We're going to show film. I'm going to show film. For example, if I pull, is it to do something slick? No. It's so I can counter a guy's right hand. And if I get 1,000 reps of that, it might look like this. Pop, 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 pop. But if I get 1,000 reps of that, I expect my athlete, when they get into a fight, to be able to execute that one time. So we're going to talk about the science of reactive mitts, why we do them, doing that versus punching hard. When do we do it? And I think it should be really exciting. I'm going to hand out a printout, and of course, everybody that finishes the course will get a certificate. But the course I'm even more excited about is Footwork Seminar, which will be happening first week of September after I'm back from California.
Fantastic. And that's at Redline Combat Academy as well.
That's at Redline also, yeah.
Fantastic.
And I'm excited about that because for a long time, my specialty has been footwork. Guys like Vasco know that, but most people associate me with the pad work. So I'm really excited to get to show some drills and show.
So reactive mitts this weekend, and then footwork drills on which date was it?
I think first weekend of September.
First weekend of September. Right. Fantastic. Okay.
And when we getting on the mitts and having some fun,
sure, just for the hell of it. I'll come tomorrow. Anyway. Yeah.
Tomorrow's Saturday, right?
Yeah. Is the course tomorrow at Redline? Yeah.
No, I don't think it's closed, but I think I might not be in the gym. I'm in the gym, back in the gym on Sunday.
Okay.
But let's exchange information on Messenger, and then we'll.
Wait, where's the seminar?
The Redline. Oh, that's right. I am at Redline tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. I was gonna say I'll be there. Yeah.
Hey, I'm only good. I'm only good at teaching, bro. Everything else, don't blame me.
That'd be good stuff. No, but yeah, I'll be there tomorrow anyway, man. Right. Nice to meet you, Barry.
Very nice to meet you. It was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate it.
Good stuff, mate. I hope everyone's learning. Cool.